WNCW Sunvolt with that song called Hearts and Minds. That is from the new CD, Honky Tonk. My name is Roland. I'm down here in Studio B, where live sessions are made possible by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company and the Honeycutters live today. Hey, folks.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, welcome back.
Thank you.
Good to be back.
What's going on in Honeycutter land these days?
Well, everything wonderful. Chocolate and lollipops and
We're still giving away a free puppy at every show.
yeah,
Are
free
you?
puppies. No, we've got a couple shows coming up at the ISIS this weekend, the ISIS Theater in West Asheville. So
Right.
we're kind of getting geared up for that.
2 nights.
2 nights, yeah.
Do you do that often? Like,
Never have before.
so how does that change things? Like, you little special tricks for the second night, or
The second night is going to be costume night.
is it really?
No.
You know, there's a purpose to it. We just want to seem like big shots, really. So we just that's
Just
what we're all
throwing our weight around.
Yeah, no, but we just thought, I don't know, it just seemed like a good idea, and that maybe it could make sense. Because it's a little bit smaller than some other venues we've been doing okay at. So we thought we would see, can we pull off 2 nights here? And so we'll see. And I'm excited and feel good about it. And so it's I think it's important to know. So Friday we're specifically catering it towards a mostly seated type of show. So there will be sort of a different vibe, and probably the sets that we come up with will be, catered to that vibe, some of more of the listening room type of thing. And then Saturday night will be mostly standing. So if you want to see the Honeycutters get a little more raucous, probably Saturday night is the night that happens.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And I guess you're working on a bunch of new songs too, so
Mm-hmm.
maybe
Yeah.
in some new tunes. this
Yeah,
weekend.
there'll definitely be some new tunes.
Cool. So a lot of kind of new things are going on. You got a new band, or partly a new band, and working on some new songs. Who's in the band with you today?
Well, we'll start with the newest members. We have Mr. Josh Milligan on the drums
All right.
Hi, Josh.
and Rick Cooper playing bass with us.
All right.
And then, as always, we have Tal Taylor on mandolin.
Hello.
This is Peter James playing guitar.
That's me.
I'm Amanda Ann Platt.
Yeah. So and a bunch of new songs. You're working on a new record.
Hopefully.
You're working on it.
We're working on it.
Yeah. So what's the plans? What you're some things recorded so far? So you got a few things in the can, or
No, not really. We did some very rough demos, but just kind of, on our own. But we're trying to do a fan-funded album, so we're
Yeah.
kind of getting the bread together
right?
now, and hoping to maybe be at Echo Mountain Studio in Asheville in the summer months, if all that works out.
Yeah. So do you have like in your mind, you see like album covers and titles for records and things like that? Does that come at the very end?
That's sort of, I feel like that kind of happens like during the process, because usually we have like a big pool of songs that we're narrowing down from, and the past 2 album titles have been songs on the record,
Right.
and I think we'd probably like to do that again. And so until we really know exactly what the songs are going to be, it's hard to pick a title, and before you know the title, it's hard to pick a cover. So it all sort of grows together, I guess.
So is this a good problem to have too many songs?
Well, not for me. I kind of wish I wrote less songs.
We do, in a way, yeah, it's like, I guess either way could have its difficulties. The difficulty with Amanda writing as many songs as she does, honestly, is she'll go through a phase, it seems like, of writing a bunch that's like, oh yeah, there's a gel amongst these ones, and these are going to flow, and then there's that old one that will fit into, like, here's a slow one will fit. And then, like, right before we go to make a record, she'll write another 8, like, before we're going into the studio or something. Like, they'll just all of a sudden, like, within the last few months before we're getting up there, she'll write a bunch too. And so it honestly gets kind of hard. I guess it is a good problem to have, but it is a problem to be like, which ones are we going to record now? Which ones do we really love that are just going to get still put back and just sit in a notebook for who knows how much longer?
So like coherence within a body of work is kind
Yeah.
of part of the consideration.
Yeah.
But I get very defensive because they're like my children, So I'm like,
Sure.
if Pete's like, no, I don't think we should do this one on the record, I'm like, what do you mean we
What do
shouldn't do
you
that one on
mean,
the record? What's wrong with you, Pete?
Yeah.
It's a great song.
Cool. And so you mentioned you're doing this Kickstarter thing. It's
Yes.
going pretty well, it sounds like, from looking at your website.
It is going well. We have a long way to go still need a lot of help, but we're doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and that's a phenomenon. To me is really neat. like the old record company kicks you money. No, let's ask people, to help us, and it works for a lot of folks. I mean,
Yeah, it worked for our last record, and there's definitely a special feel to. I mean, for us at least, I think recording our last record and having that be fan funded was like it's very special to kind of have that. You really feel like you're giving something back. You really feel like people have said in a big way, like, we want to hear more from you, like, so that's why we're trying it again with the fan funding, and it is different. It's, I respect you guys for doing your fundraisers here at WNCW.
I was going to say there is a little correlation. But one thing that happens is I will give the radio station some of my money, which is so generous, but then people like sort of feel like they own the radio station. So do you ever get like fans coming back and going, I don't like track 3 on your record that I helped to fund? Does that ever come up?
I think
Not
they
yet.
know enough not to dare to say that in my presence.
Oh, yeah.
They better tell me it's the most amazing thing they've ever heard, period. No, that hasn't happened. Not to me. Has it happened to you? No.
No, I don't think so.
You know what, though? What I would say on that note is that I would like to think that they do have some kind of feeling of joint ownership over the project as a whole. Certainly, obviously, these are all Amanda's songs. I think it's important that people know sometimes if there's new listeners to the band. And even sometimes we'll see a write-up every now and then. It'll be like, and it'll say co-writing, Peter and James, it'll say this co-writing thing, and it's like, I want everybody to know, like, Amanda writes every bit of all this. This is totally, you know what I mean? And I want them to know that for her props, like, totally. Like, she writes every single lyric. She brings the chords. That's all. It's a song. We just add stuff to it. So, in that sense, that's, they can't have ownership over that. But as far as, like, making a project work, like a full CD, and, like, it's totally a family thing that's, like, I want them to feel that way. Yeah.
And there is also, maybe we should mention, there's one of the things that we're offering, it's like a pledge drive reward, is the chance to play tambourine on the album itself. So I don't know, they can check that out.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff at the website. What your web address is?
Honeycutters.com.
Honeycutters.com.
And there's a
Nice
link
and
to the Kickstarter on the main page of our website.
And there's a link to that website from our website today at WNCW.org. Yeah, awesome. You guys, like, you're moving up, huh? Like, this is more and more of a buzz about the band. You feel that?
There's a buzz about the Honeycutters.
You just keep saying that. Something's going to happen.
Yeah, right, exactly. If enough people say it, there will be a buzz. I don't know. Some days it feels, some days like I wake up and like, we've sold a bunch of CDs online. We have like, 40 new likes on our Facebook page. And then, you go a few weeks, a few months and nothing really happens. And it feels like people are ignoring you and you're like, oh, I'm a failure, So it's just peaks and valleys in this business.
The music business is so like that. It's so this thing that you have to learn. You have to learn to ride this thing out and never assuming anything and always just being grateful for exactly what it is, because it's so easy to be on one of these two places. A, wow, we really got something going. Or B, man, when's the last time something exciting happened? Because you just, it's addictive nature of craving, like, like you do something like Merlefest. You play Merlefest. After that, you're like, can we do this every day? Can we play a Merlefest every day somewhere? Right. No, you can't.
You guys had a great Merlefest, though. Like, you were the band everyone was following around, or one of the bands.
It felt good.
We had a good time.
Yeah. Again, just saying thank you for it and not assuming anything.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, because it's like, as soon as you start assuming things, that's when it's like, oh, never mind.
So, like, with the record coming up, though, are there plans to kind of shop it around, or are you just going to do it yourselves, or have you gotten that far?
I think right now the plan is just to go ahead and do it ourselves, unless there's, some record exec right now listening with a fat wallet that wants to call into the studio.
But it, the airplay is growing. I mean, you're getting played across the country. You're touring and stuff. I mean, is it harder now to go make a record? Is there more pressure on you because like suddenly there are more ears on it?
That'll be interesting because we're certainly in a very different place now than we were when Bitter Met Sweet. I think from a songwriting perspective, something that I have dealt with and continue to deal with, although I feel like I've kind of gotten over it a little bit, is just that feeling of like, is this enough like the other things I've written that people are still going to like it? And, it's like as soon as you start thinking like that, at least for me, like that's when I'm just like, I can't write anything. Then I'm like, oh my God, no, like, because you're always growing and there's always different things happening. So if you write the same song over and over, I don't know, you get Nashville.
That must happen to a lot of bands, though. Like you can see it in their discography. Like suddenly they do a record that's totally different, and you can just almost see the wheels turning. Like I got to break out of that same mold. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's the only, I don't feel any, at the moment I don't anyway, I don't feel any particular pressure of like, oh, we have to make a great record because something's, I'm like, oh, there's some buzz or something now, so now it means more, like, to make sure the record is good, so, like, buzz keeps going, and whatever that means, it means is going to happen for us as far as having successful careers with this band. But I think the pressure always is, how do we represent on record as close as we can to what we are live, keeping in mind that it's two different animals. A live show and being in a studio with headphones on and making a record, you can't necessarily just throw a mic on everything like you do on stage at a live show and think that that's going to make a great record. It just doesn't. Sonically, different things happen in there, and you have to consider, like, maybe we are going to add a second acoustic guitar track to fill in this space that normally is filled out in a live room that sounds bigger or different. So I'm more, the pressure more is, A, how do we represent really, like, when you come to a show, it's like, yeah, that's what they sounded like online when I listened to whatever their tracks online, and B, that you do hear growth. That's like, yeah, the band is growing. It's like that first song we played, it's got a little bit more of a, like, a little bit of pop catchy, there's a little bit of pop catchy flair that's coming in there that Amanda has on some of her newer stuff that's not so much on Irene, our first record, really at all. None of that stuff is there. There's a lot more backbeat kind of stuff on Embitterment Sweet. So, like, I want to show the growth, and I want to sound like we sound live too. That's the pressure for me, period. I don't really think about anything else. I think that's how I'm supposed to think of it too, is generally being the producer, me and Amanda produce together basically, but as far as sonically, I'm the one who spends the most time there with the engineers of, like, dialing in drum tones and all this different stuff, and, like, that's what's on my mind.
He knows what sounds good.
Or I know what sounds bad, maybe.
Maybe
It's that.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds bad. Make it good.
Amanda Ann Platt and Peter James are sort of the ringleaders of this. Peter, I've always loved your guitar playing. I was telling someone that you're the
Thanks.
guy who dodges cliches. Like every time I go, he's going to finish out the run with this note, you don't put that note there. So
Thank you so much, man.
Very tasteful. I always love your playing.
Thank you.
The Honeycutters live in Studio B. They're playing this weekend 2 shows at the ISIS Music Hall up in Asheville. Friday night, it's kind of a sit-down listening kind of thing, and Saturday night, rowdy and kick your heels up and all that stuff.
Yes.
What time those shows get started? Do you know?
I think it's 9 p.m. both nights, and Friday night our good friend Rory Carroll is going to be opening the show, and Saturday night Moses Atwood is going to be opening. So
nice.
we got some buddies.
Who's also a
helping
good
us
friend. I don't know why you skipped good friend on his intro.
He's listening too.
Sorry, Moses.
I'm sure more shows off in the future too.
Yeah, we're going to be all over the country this summer, so.
Nice. Well, have fun.
Thanks so much for
think we
having
will.
us again.
Always, always love the sound. The whole band. Thanks everyone
Thanks,
for coming
Thanks,
by.
everybody.
And have fun this weekend, you guys.
You too.
What do I need to let you know? Live Studio B sessions on WNCW are made possible by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company. Again, a big thanks to the Honeycutters. And we pick up this tune from John Prine.
I don't want your big French fry. I don't want your car. I don't want to buy no soap, no washed up movie star.